GM's IPO is all wrong, from the timing to the CEO to the political maneuvering. So says Gerald Meyers. He's the former CEO at American Motors. He's now a professor at the University of Michigan Business School. Gerald is on the phone with us this morning from Bloomfield, Michigan. Gerald, delighted to have you. You have a lot of experience in the auto industry. Tell us, what's the worst thing about this IPO plan, and is there anything at all to like?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's all wrong, but the timing is strange and premature. I believe it's politically motivated. I think the shot's being called from the White House, or at least from the task force, in an effort to support the election of our president, and that, I think that's making the thing awkward, if not a possible failure.
Okay, so at what point, Gerald, would GM, in your opinion, be ready to go public again? How much longer should the company wait? How much longer should the White House be prepared to give it to gain the kind of strength that needs to be a solid stock?
I would say another 2 quarters to establish that the market is substantial and growing, and that the new management is, in fact, going to be successful.
Now, what else should we consider when we look at an IPO of General Motors? I'm not going to put you in the position of trying to ballpark what this company is worth, but looking at it as an automotive company, because that's what you know best, what should investors like, and what should they be concerned about right now?
Well, the concerns are easy to pinpoint. The market has not stabilized. In fact, if it's anything, it's going at a low rate of maybe 11 million units in the United States alone. They're concerned about Dan Akerson, the new upcoming CEO, who has very little or no automotive experience and is yet to be tested. The early departure of Ed Whittaker is unfortunate. I don't know what created that, but he should have hung around for another 12 months or so to establish the progress of the company.
Gerald, I want to jump in here, though, because to be fair, or at least to be honest about it, Ed Whittaker didn't have a whole lot of experience as an automotive CEO. Sure, he's the guy who was parachuted in. Yes, he's the person who brought GM back to profitability. But what makes Dan Akerson any worse than Ed Whittaker?
Well, I would say I would not blame Whittaker for results. I think the results so far are commendable. But the story is not told yet. The success of his tenure won't be known for at least another couple quarters, and maybe even longer. True, Akerson doesn't have any more experience than he did in the automobile business. But I think when a person is in the chair and is making the company move, he should be permitted to, and in fact required to, hang in there long enough to establish his credentials.
Gerald, do you think going public is going to help GM improve its so-called perception with automobile buyers? GM says perception is so key. Does being a big stock once again help in that regard, help to lure people to the showroom?
I think they're wrong. Go out in the marketplace and ask the average automobile buyer whether GM is government-owned is a factor in their buying the automobile. Now they'll say, "What? What are you talking about? I'm interested in the vehicle, what it'll do for me, performance, fuel economy, quality, appearance, and those kinds of things. And if the government owns it, so what?"
Now, and okay, but on that last point, what if the stock starts to tank? Does that have the potential to hurt GM's perception, as it did when the company was on its way into bankruptcy?
Well, if it looks like the company's headed downhill again, it's going to affect everything, including buyers, who will be reading about it and hearing about it and saying, "I don't want to buy an orphan vehicle." And to that extent, I would say that it's important.
All right, well, it sounds like there are some serious risks for investors to take into account. Gerald Meyers, a professor at the University of Michigan Business School, the former CEO of the American Motors Corporation.